Hello guys, I'm going to show you how to do lesson 2 of unit 1. So you first log in to the OLS system and click over by your classes. Remember, your My Schedule will show you how to get to your Class Connect schedule. Classes will take you to your individual class announcements. Up here you would see a letter grade. Down here you would see if you had any overdues or any feedback. It's always good to check that first thing Monday. Just see where you stand. All right, and then next, to get to our content, again, you'll see here your letter grade. Let me switch this over to move my picture to view as a student, so that it looks just like y'all's. All right, up here you would see your letter grade, overdues, feedback. Then you'd see your Class Connect schedule for the day. And just below that is what we're doing this week in the OLS. Scroll down to where you see this week's work, and it will tell you right there. Always good to check that first. Always check your announcements every day. And it's good to check your email twice a day. This is where I walked you through the very first lesson, just like I'm doing now with the second. And of course, our class announcement, our class newsletter. And everything you need to know will be found there. And it updates usually on Sunday evenings. Since we didn't have school today, I'm working on updating it. I almost got it finished updating. By the time I get finished recording this and one other video and get it uploaded, I'll be done. If you're having trouble with Neuro, understanding how it works, I've got that in our announcements, as well as my welcome video. And if you want to show all announcements, you can click here to see all of the announcements that I have. All right, well, let's go and look at this. Again, here's this planner. It gives you a general idea, but I really wouldn't pay much attention to it. Again, you want to mostly focus on this and check your grade book to see if you have any zeros. That's always a wise thing to do Monday morning, is just to check and make sure that you don't have anything that is truly overdue with a zero in it. If you do have any zeros, write those assignments down and get them done as soon as possible, because they are truly overdue. All right, so to get to your lessons, you go to content. And over here on the left-hand side, you have your whole table of contents. If this isn't fleshed out, you may have to click on this influential people. But this week, what's due? Last week, you should have done the 1.01 influential people. This week, starting on Tuesday, you're working on 1.82 literature study. You should work on this Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday, you'll be working on 1.03 Genius. And then hopefully by that Friday, you'll be ready to take the quiz, which isn't showing up here yet because I want to be sure that you've had the opportunity to go through a couple of these lessons and how you do them before I open that up, so you can do your very best on that very first OLS grade. And then you'll be set from there on. All right, so let's look at 1.02 Literature Study 1. All right, if you look, you'll see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 learning modules in this one. So we always want to start with this very first one. There's usually not very much to it. It's just a good introductory to the lesson. All right, and it says, can you think of a historical figure who has influenced you? Think about famous artists, writers, politicians, activists, actors, or athletes. Chances are you connect with this person from history because he or she inspires you or shares something that you're passionate about. In this same manner, Raphael connects with and influences artists today. Karen has some interesting ideas about influential people. All right, and so we've got a video here, so we'll watch it.
I am really into
And if you are having audio trouble, you can also download that transcript and open it this way. Okay, and that will give you the transcript of the video if you have auditory issues. All right, you see down here we have 1 of 5, so that tells us we have 4 more slides we need to go through. So we're going to click that button to go to the next slide. Getting to know Raphael. What did you learn about the character of Raphael from the Child of Urbino? So we're kind of going to get a review of the Child of Urbino. If you have not watched or read, if you have not read the Child of Urbino, you need to stop right now, go back and do lesson 1, because this is going to build off of each other. So we're not going to go through all of these, but you will need to answer these review questions. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 review questions, okay? And it looks, excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. It looks, and you'll need to go through those. I'm not going to go through all of those right now with you, but please do click through all of those and answer them and check to make sure your answers are correct. If you're missing a lot of them, maybe you need to stop, go back, and read. It's the Child of Urbino is found on page 300 of your online textbook. All right, once you have done these review questions over the Child of Urbino, you're ready to go forward to slide 3. Historical fiction and biography. The Child of Urbino is part of a genre. What is a genre? It's a category of literary work such as poetry, novel, or drama, known as historical fiction. Historical fiction is fictional in content that based on real people and events in history. So, one of my favorite historical fiction movies is Titanic. It's based on something that really happened. The ship Titanic did hit an iceberg and sunk, but the characters of Jack and Rose are fictional. You will soon read a short biography of Raphael. The biography is the story of someone's life written by another person. If it's written by the person, it's called an autobiography. So if Raphael wrote his own history, that would be an autobiography. But since it's written by somebody else, it's just a biography. Biographies are factual accounts of real people and events in their lives. In this case, you will read what really happened as opposed to fictional events in the Child of Urbino. And then we go to slide 4, predictions. Becoming an active reader means engaging with text you are reading. A fun part of engaging in a reading is making predictions about what will be included in a piece of writing. Now that you've read The Child of Urbino and learned about historical influences and definitions of biography, you should be able to make some predictions about what you will read in the biography of Raphael. Still not sure? Check out Karen's predictions. All right, here's what Karen wrote. Well, since I learned that Raphael loved learning about art as a child, I predict that he will continue to love learning about art as an adult. I also think Raphael will become famous since I'm reading about him now. I think he will like working with other artists in The Child of Urbino. He enjoyed working with and learning from other artists. And then our last slide. Review the lesson guides to learn about the activities in this lesson. So always, always, always download the student guide. And you click on it, and a lot of times it'll pop up in another thing here. This will have all the links of things that you will need of your materials. It has the key words that you're going to need to know, vocabulary terms, and helps to how you pronounce it. Like this word, genre, okay? I know it's kind of a weird looking word, isn't it? A sounding word, genre. And it means a category of literary works such as poetry, novel, or drama. And so read all of those, get familiar with your vocabulary. And the vocabulary words are, just so that you know how to pronounce them correctly, modify, adjective phrase, biography, genre, historical fiction, observation, and vivid. And then once you don't have to print that out, just save it, Be sure you have it so that you can pull it up when it's time to take your 1.03 quiz. All right, then we go over. And literature study 1.1, reading biography. Different authors can write about the same subject in different ways. While you read the biography about Raphael, pay attention to the words the author uses, images the author creates for the reader, fact versus opinions, the examples the author provides, the way the writing is organized, and how this writing is similar to and different from what you've already read about Raphael. To read the biography of Raphael, visit National Gallery of Art, Raphael. And so you'll download it, click on that, and it's going to open up in another tab just like here. And here you can read about his biography. Raffaello di Giovanni Santi was the younger contemporary of Leonardo and Michelangelo, and with them epitomizes the high Renaissance in Italy. For most of history of Western art, the easy grace and harmonious balance of Raphael's style has represented an ideal of perfection. A man noted as for wit and charm, he has often been called the Prince of Painters. Raphael must have studied first with his father, painter of the court in Urbino, an environment rich in the arts and humanistic learning. The elder Santi died when the boy was 11. Whether Raphael entered the workshop of Perugino at that time, or as seems more likely, many years later, when he was already an acknowledged artist, he quickly mastered Perugino's delicate ornamental style and its open landscapes and gentle figures. It was said that contemporaries had trouble distinguishing Perugino's work from Raphael's, but Raphael's compositions were more sophisticated even when he was a young artist. Late in 1504, Raphael moved to Florence, drawn there by accounts of Leonardo's work there. Leonardo's softly shadowed forms, natural figured groupings, and simplified settings were all stunningly new, and Raphael responded quickly to them. In 1508, the Pope called Raphael to Rome. Influenced by the idolized classical art of the city's ancient past, Raphael's work turned on a new grandeur. He also responded to the more energetic and physical style of Michelangelo, whose works he'd already begun to study in Florence. Picture here. Raphael remained in Rome in the last 12 years of his life. In those years, he was extremely active, preparing monumental frescoes for the papal chambers, designing tapestries for the Sistine Chapel, and painting scenes that captured mythological stories with delight and exuberance. His work became wildly influential through the dissemination of print. Raphael was also the city's leading portraitist, creating penetrating psychological images that engaged viewer and sitter with a new intensity. When he died at the age of 37, the Pope ordered that Raphael, who had been keeper of antiquities, be buried in the Pantheon. All right, some of his works of art include Flowers of Raphael, and you can click on each one of these and blow them up. The Small Cowper Madonna, St. George and the Dragon, the Niccoloni Cowper Madonna, the Alba Madonna, lots of Madonnas, Bindo Alvatoviti, probably, this guy probably paid him to paint him. Just the original architecture designs and a soldier. Cupid Bound, The Deluge, A Standing Male Nude, St. George and the Dragon, the Madonna and the Child with Saint, flip off there, Prophets of Hosea and Jonah, the Marble Horse and the Cornani High, and 8 Apostles. And then there's other related content that you can click on to see more of his work and some of his exhibitions and a calendar of when that's happened. All right, so then when you're done perusing that, studying, then we'll go over to, let's make sure there's no more slides in this set. So we go over. All right, literature study 1.2. How do these pieces relate? How did Karen's predictions fare? She correctly predicted that Raphael would continue to love learning about art as an adult, since he loved doing so as a child. Karen also thought that Raphael would become famous based on the fact that we are still learning about him today. This prediction was correct as well. Karen's final prediction was that Raphael would still like working with other artists as an adult, which we know is correct because he traveled from town to town to interact with other artists. Now let's check out the predictions you made before reading this biography. On which information from the text did you base your predictions? Were you right? How so? Both pieces we have discussed Raphael's passion for art and his ferocious study of it from an early age. We learned that Raphael took what he loved most about early artist work and created his own unique style. And unique means each piece of jewelry is unique because it's designed and handmade by the artist. What do you think unique means? If you don't know, go look up the definition in an online dictionary. So Raphael was influenced by other artists and in turn continues to influence artists today. All right, we have more on this slide. We're going to go to page 2. What is biography? Which characteristics of the biography genre are revealed in the biography you just read? Dates and facts. These are used to share information about Raphael's life and work, such as the fact that Raphael studied under Perugino after his father died. Chronological organization. The information is organized chronologically, beginning with Raphael's childhood and leading up to his death, making it easy to follow. Focus on key events in the life of the subject. The author uses examples of Raphael's specific artistic achievements, such as realistic landscapes and Florentine figures, to show the reader his evolution as an artist. How is the biography different from the short story, The Child of Urbino? Think of your answer and then check. What are the characteristics of a biography? Think of your answers, maybe jot them down and check. Remember, anything you write down, you can use on the quiz. All right, we have page 2, so we need to go page 3. What's real? Test your knowledge of the difference between historical fiction and biography. Okay, so you're going to go over these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 questions here. And I'm not going to go through all of these. You can go through them and check them. Be sure, remember a good thing to learn is when you see these questions like this, to copy the question into a Word document. To do that, you just go to Word. Oh, let me minimize this for a second. I know my screen's crazy. Let me go to Word. Where's my Word? I'm having to do this the hard way. Oh, it's okay. Oh, there it is right there. Hello. So open up a Word document. We're going to do a blank new one. And I would file, save as to this PC, and I would enter the name in 1.02 notes or study guide or study, whatever, and click save. Okay, and then from there, I would just copy and paste. So go back to where we're at, and you can just highlight that, right click and copy, or do Control C on your keyboard. We'll copy it. And then click on the Word document you want and hit Control V or right click and paste, okay? And then when you find the answer, I like to put A. So which of the following tells the story using real events as a backdrop? A, historical fiction, biography, or both? What do y'all think? I'm going to go with both. Let's just see if I'm right. No, I'm wrong. Okay, let's try another one. Tells a story using real events as a backdrop. Would that be a historical fiction? Let's try that. It's a historical fiction. So what I would do is I would try, okay, it's like, will it let me copy and paste? Yeah. Right click copy and go back to your notes. So even if you get it wrong when you're doing this, hopefully you'll get it right on the quiz. Okay? And just every time you have one of those, copy and paste that down so that it's and you can hit try again. Historical fiction. Yay, we know it's right. And so that's all I'm going to do with that one. When you finish all 10 of these, then you're ready to click to go to the 4th slide. Methods used for characterization. Now let's discuss how the two authors present Raphael to you, the reader. 1. Which method does the author use in The Child of Urbino to reveal Raphael's character? What did they use? Think of your answer. Check it. And again, copy paste maybe. How does the biography show the reader what Raphael was like? How did he do that? Check your answer. Copy and paste, put in your notes. Which adjectives are used to describe Raphael in each piece? Check your answer. Copy and paste. When you've done that, you're ready to go to the next part. Adjective phrases. We just identified some adjectives from the 2 pieces on Raphael that you have read so far. As you know, adjectives are used to describe nouns and pronouns. Adjectives help to give detail and clarity to writing. An adjective phrase is a group of words that work together to describe or modify a noun or pronoun in a sentence. So, an adjective phrase. It's a prepositional phrase that modifies a noun or verb. So you got to think about, what are your prepositions? The way I remember it is, what does the cat do compared to a desk? It can be on a desk, under a desk, by the desk, inside the desk, outside the desk. You get the point. Those are all your kind of, for the most part, pronoun adjective words. Modify is to change or alter. So how does it describe or change a noun or pronoun in a sentence? In this lesson, we are focusing on prepositional phrases that act as an adjective phrase to modify nouns and pronouns. Why do we need to know how to identify and use adjective phrases correctly? Adjective phrases help us to add clarity and vivid detail to our writing. There's that vocabulary word, vivid, clear and colorful. So you could go back to the study guide, and as you hit these words, make sure you got that there, because you can use that on the quiz. Since we want to avoid being boring in our writing, we will learn to identify and use adjective phrases effectively. Oh, hold on. I've got to go back, because guess what? I made a boo-boo. We're on 1 of 6 we've got to click on. Placing adjective phrases correctly. Adjective phrases can be very effective ways to describe a noun, but only if they're used properly. An adjective phrase needs to be connected to the noun it modifies. Often, an adjective phrase appears before or just after the noun that it modifies. So, the beautifully painted mural caught her eye. What is our noun in this phrase? Mural. So, what is our adjective? Beautifully painted. There's that phrase, beautifully painted. The mural, beautifully painted by a local artist, caught her eye. Okay, again, our noun, our subject in this sentence is the mural. What is our adjective of the phrase? Beautifully painted by a local artist. In this one, we get a little bit more description. Sometimes an adjective phrase is linked to its noun by a verb. Let's look at this one. The mural was beautifully painted by a local artist. So it gets this helping verb was in front of it. Misplaced adjective phrases. When the adjective phrase is too far away from its noun, the reader can't make the connection. this leads to confusion. Let's check out another example. Select the underlined phrase to learn what's wrong with the adjective phrase. Churning in the middle of the ocean, we were unprepared for the storm. What's wrong with this? Can you tell me? Because of its location, this adjective phrase seems to be modifying the pronoun we. We, however, can't be churning in the middle of the ocean. This adjective phrase is modifying something else in the sentence. To make this connection, you need to move the adjective phrase closer to the noun it's actually modifying. So see, it's close to the noun we. It's not modifying that. What is it actually? How can we fix this sentence? Where can we move this to? What is churning in the middle of the ocean? If you said the storm, you might be correct. We were unprepared for the storm churning in the middle of the ocean. So again, take this chunk, move it over here, then put your period at the end. Capitalize the W. We were unprepared for the storm churning in the middle of the ocean. Identifying adjective phrases and the nouns they modify. Practice identifying adjective phrases and nouns they describe in this passage from the Child of Urbino. Select the underlined phrases to find out if you are correct. Okay, so I'm not going to do this totally with you. I'm going to let you do this some on your own, but read this and click on these to see if you are right. The rules. All right. Wondering how to identify prepositional phrases? Know when a prepositional phrase is also an adjective phrase? Review these rules. Rule number 1. Prepositional phrases begin with a preposition and they end with a noun and are used as an adjective or adverb. Some examples of prepositions are to, at, among, after, from, for, inside, upon, with, of, and on. An example of a prepositional phrase is of jars and platters. The row of jars and platters. Note that the phrase begins with the preposition of and ends with the noun platters. Rule number 2. Adjective phrases are prepositional phrases that describe a noun or a pronoun. What process can you use to determine whether a prepositional phrase is an adjective phrase? And then click answer to check yours. Consider these examples. The row of jars and platters. Number 2, she ran inside the house. Why is example 1 an adjective phrase? Click your answer to see if you're right. Why is example 2 not an adjective phrase? Click your answer. And click on the answer to see if you're right. Last page of this one. Time for practice. Give it a shot. Test your knowledge of adjective and prepositional phrases. Again, I would copy and paste these just in case they show up on the 1.03. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 practice questions. Once you're complete with those, click on this up here at the top to go on to part 4. Using observation. To be a careful reader, you need to develop strong skills of observation. Observation is the ability to notice details about the objects, people, places, things, and actions around you. You must be able to learn things about characters and form genuine conclusions about their actions based on your observations of them. So what is genuine? The art of expert certified that the painting was a genuine work by Raphael. What do you think? True, correct, right, possibly? Just as Raphael used observations to sharpen his skills as an artist, you must use observations to deepen your skills as a reader. For each individual you read about in this module, you will complete an observation page. These observation pages should be filled out using detailed and careful thought. You should hold on to them throughout the module since you will need them for your module exam. So There we go, page 2. All right, we have Arnold's Arnold's example. So what we will do for Arnold, so go ahead and download that doc. And it's going to download here at the bottom. And you're going to need to open it. And so that you can type on it, click Enable Editing. And go ahead and put your name and the date that you're working on it. And that kind of didn't do, it's fine if it does that. Don't worry about it. Can't go back though. Hold on. There we go. All right, take notes to record your observations about Tyler. All right, and what's his characteristics? He's shy, hardworking, active, interesting. And see, this is where you'll take notes. This is showing you how you're going to fill this out. So we could tell that by, let's look at this example. Arnold has been working on an observation page about his classmate, Tyler. Though Tyler is not an artist, Arnold found he could still fill out the form so we can learn more about Tyler. As you read the form, think about which tools for observation Arnold used to complete the page. How do these tools help you and Arnold to understand Tyler better? Did Arnold use enough detail to help us get to know Tyler? How can you most effectively fill out the observation pages for this module's influential people? All right, so let's open our observation here. Okay, so we put the person's name, Tyler, character traits. He's shy, hardworking, active, interested in science fiction. Motivations, like that's why somebody does something. Wanting the farm to succeed, going to college someday, his family, and being able to ride the quad. Contributions to family. How does he help his family out? He does chores around the farm, completes his classwork, helps around the house, and earns money. What's your opinion and responses? Tyler's not afraid to work hard, as I can see through his dedication to his studies and the family's farm. He has special interests, but he puts his family first. Okay, and that's all it says there. So that gives you a model of how you're going to do your observation page, which is what you're going to download next. Get it downloads down here. You're going to click the arrow and click Open. You do have to have Microsoft Word in order to do this. If for some reason you're using your own personal computer, you can download it free. Contact your advisor if you're not sure who your advisor is. You can email me and I will get that information to you. Again, to get it so that you can start typing, you click Enable Editing. So we get that yellow bar to disappear. Put your name. Put today's date. And it'll always do that the first time for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, it did it again. Let's try clicking it again. No, it's still doing it. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, I guess it wants it right beside those colons. All right, take notes to record your observations. So what artist or musician are you doing? So we're gonna have to read the story first to see who we're doing. All right, and then it goes to the next page. What have you learned? Oh, okay. So on that one, what you're going to do is you're going to pick, let me go back to your observation. You're going to pick an artist or musician, can be a famous person, but hopefully somebody that creates something, whether that's an author, a painter, a rapper, anything like that. You're going to put your answer of their character traits. What are they like? And you may have to do some research to find that out by people that know them, what's been written about them. Motivations, what motivates them? And what are their contributions to their art, to literature, to art, to music? whatever. And then put your opinion. What is your personal opinion after reading all these things about the person? What is your opinion of that person? So make yours look, model it after what the other person put. Okay? You do not have to turn that into me, but keep it for your notes because it's going to come back up for the quiz. All right, what have you learned? Observation is a skill that can help you in multiple ways. It allows you to build better understanding of characters and their actions. It can assist you in comparing and contrasting different forms of literature, such as historical fiction and biography. And finally, strong observation skills allow you to identify and use adjective phrases correctly. In this lesson, you learned how to compare and contrast two authors' presentations of the same person, identify adjective phrases and sentences, make connections between texts and different genres. Be sure that you've completed all of the activities for this lesson before moving on. Over the next few days, exercise your powers of observation as you go about your daily activities. What do you notice about the people you meet, the things they say and do, and the things you read? Become a student of observation. And we are done. So then you just hit back to content. And that concludes lesson 1.02. I hope this little walkthrough helped you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.